So we are now day 39 of Donald Trump's shutdown. And what are the Republicans doing? They're having a party. Of course they are. And that's what they've been doing through this whole shutdown. They're just celebrating and everything's great, right? We keep winning while Americans are starving, while Americans are worried about their paychecks, while Americans don't know how to put food on the table. Like, it's really tough right now. And yet Republicans are like, hey, we're having a great time. Everybody's winning. Get out the tux and the dress, right? That's J.D. Vance with Second Lady Usha Vance celebrating the military. And while they're also doing that, we're cutting these big cake, celebrating during the shutdown, and you find the biggest eagle you can to put on said big cake, because what could be more American than that? Got these big flags. And then what else you do? You get a bunch of people to come to the party who are ordered to be there, right? People in the military. And this is so much out of a playbook from dictatorship or military regime, whatever you want to call it. These are the Trump people. Celebrate the military, rally around the flag, that kind of stuff during a shutdown. And then Trumpers then tells regular people, hey, everyone, I'm going to solve your problems. I know everything's expensive, right? Finally admit that things cost a lot of money. And I'm going to get you to be in debt forever. 50-year mortgages. That's the latest proposal from Trump, 50-year mortgages. This is from one of Trump's people, Eric Doherty. He says, breaking, President Trump appears to announce his intention to normalize 50-year mortgages to make it easier for young people to buy a home via lower monthly payments. Right? Okay. He cites FDR as when the 30-year mortgage started to spread nationwide. And Trump, he always likes to self-praise himself, and now he's comparing himself to FDR and 50-year mortgages. We're going to get to that because there's a lot to talk about with this kind of thing, because you have to understand what's Trump's plan and proposal, but you have to also understand that they're all about the money here. Okay. So this is actually a book that was handed out at CPAC. This is where they're celebrating also Milei's $40 billion bailout in Argentina. And they got this book that says philanthropy on it, right? I know they go through it really fast, but I'll show it to you here. And there's the front of the book. And what's crazy about the Trump people is when you see this picture, like we make fun of Trump because it's like ridiculous. He's like kissing the flag here. I know. And it's like, should I laugh? Should I cry? What do I do? It's so absurd. We're literally living in a South Park timeline, and it's like President Cartman, right? And more Hot Pockets, more flags. Let me kiss more flags. Great. And when you look at this book, they got Elon Musk in this thing. You're celebrating Elon and Robert Downey Jr., whatever. But there's a really fascinating part right here. When they open the book, it says Fortress for Freedom. So I guess the plan is you get all of your, campaign donors and Republican finance, right? People to give you the money, and you're going to build your Fortress for Freedom or something. I'm just reading right here, Fortress for Freedom. And, I've been speculating that they're going to just run off to Argentina for retirement. And that's it seems like not even a secret at this point, Fortress for Freedom. I guess that's their plan. And while you're at this party, you're just eating shrimp. This is CPAC having a good old time, celebrating that $40 billion bailout to Argentina and the Fortress of Freedom. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is what they're eating. It actually looks pretty good, right? You can see it for yourself. But this is while people are starving. And this is essentially, this shows you the divide between the rich and poor in USA. You can see it right there. And then when you look at what Trump's, when he thinks about regular people, it's like, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you be in debt forever. This is Trump's plan. Now, what's crazy, and I'm going to go through some of these responses to this thing with you, is this Marjorie Taylor Greene person. She seems to be against it, I guess. She says, I don't like the 50-year mortgages as a solution to the housing affordability crisis. And she's really made a huge turn against the Trump people lately, if you've been noticing this. What else does she say? She says they will ultimately reward the banks, mortgage lenders, and home builders while people pay for more in interest over time and die before they ever pay off their home, in debt forever. Okay, this is just this weird, bizarre world that we live in, of the big cakes with the big eagles on it and parties every day, right? Of the billionaire class. And I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on stuff. Like, what kind of crazy world are we in? But yeah, this 50-year. Okay, let's hear another point of view. This is Polte. So this is one of Trump's dudes. I think he's in charge of the housing, and he's also the dude that was going after Lisa Cook, if you remember, and she's over at the Fed, and he always tries to point fingers at people for mortgage this, mortgage that. So he's happy. He's like, thanks to President Trump, we're indeed working on a 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. I didn't even know this was on the table. I at this point, I'm just waiting, because I know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen too. Is when are we going to start all using Trump coin to buy houses? I just feel like it's almost imminent, And then they'll break out the biggest Trump, cake of all time. Okay, what other response we got? Here's the Doherty guy. I already saw his. Okay, Joey Manarino. Okay. Oh, he says 50-year mortgage is a horrible idea. I don't see how that helps the problem. Banned BlackRock from buying homes already. Yeah, and that is a big problem to where there's too much investment money into single family homes, too much basically Wall Street money, and it pushes a lot of regular people out. And it's hard to get a home, guys. Stuff is expensive. Let's take a look at what this person says. Here's the chief nerd. and it's good to talk about this stuff because these kind of issues, just straight up money issues, straight up math, it's not really a left or right issue, right? It's just math. Let's just take a look at it, okay? So Chief Nerd says $400,000 mortgage comparison at 6%. Okay, it's reasonable. 30-year mortgage, monthly payment would be $2,398. Total loan cost, $863,000. Okay. 50-year mortgage, monthly payment $2,106. Total monthly cost, $1,263,000. So you kind of see what's going on here. Is basically if you're a bank or you're in the class that's going to be profiting off of these 50-year loans, you're like, oh hey, more interest for me. Wow, that's not a bad idea. I'm curious what other ones people say about this. Okay, here's what other people say here. Wall Street apes. Okay, so and a lot of these things like a lot of these accounts are like Wall Street apes. That's part of like a more of a libertarian right-leaning account. So they just do the math here. They say average home price in California is $802,000. Yes, it's very expensive in California. That's totally true. It's really expensive there. 30-year mortgage, monthly payment $4,811. Total loan cost $1,731,000. 50-year loan, then you're looking at $4,226. Total loan cost $2,500,000, and then the difference in interest is like $1.7 million basically. I don't know. I guess people aren't really loving this 50-year mortgage thing. That's Trump's plan. While they have a party, we shouldn't need a 50-year mortgage. We should deport 50 million people. Is that okay? That's a different plan. I'm not really on board with that. I'm just showing you different points of view here. There's another person. We don't need a 50-year mortgage. Deport. Okay, this is in the deport camp. And I guess if you want to take that route, you can. I guess deport. And you might as well just deport half the people while you're at it. If you want to take that point of view. Well, then see that doesn't really address the cost. Address the issue of cost though. We start deporting lots of workers, then costs are going to skyrocket for everyone because we don't have people to build said houses or people to have food, take care of your kids, any number of things. Here's another point of view on this. On a $400,000 mortgage at 7%. Okay, we're up in the percentage here a bit. 30-year mortgage would be $558,000 in lifetime interest. 50-year mortgage would be $1,116,000 in lifetime interest, right? With a 50-year mortgage, you pay double the amount of interest compared to 30-year. We are in a crisis. Wow. Okay, so there's that. That's Trump's proposal. Let's see what more people have to say. This is one of Trump's people, and they're going to talk about the current situation with the airlines. Let's see what they have to say.
They're sleeping in their cars. They have just tens of dollars left in their bank account. It really is becoming a huge issue, and they're having to face the question, do they put gas in their car to get to work to serve the American people, or do they stay back at home so that they can pay for groceries for their family? The fact of the matter is,
we're talking about the TSA here, right? Airport security. We're talking about, air traffic controllers are struggling, saying that people are sleeping in their cars. So this is why I'm showing you this stuff, guys, while all these things are happening, like literally TSA people sleep in their cars. This is Republican Fox News talking about this stuff. And the Republicans are out partying. It's so strange to me because Fox shows their views both these things. And I guess the way that this is played out, if you're, Fox and I guess MAGA, you think, okay, Trump's having a party, so we must be winning. Trump's having a party. I can see him celebrating. I like parties. I like to watch TV and watch other people party and flaunt their money. I guess we're having a good time. But then I look over to my refrigerator and it's empty. Or in fact, maybe I don't even have a TV. I'm watching this on my phone, sleeping in my car, and I'm MAGA going, "Oh wow, look at Trump with all his big parties." You guys know I'm making a joke here because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. That's why it's so ridiculous to have to talk about this stuff on a daily basis with you. And I do want to point out though that there are people who get it. If you're watching my channel, you probably get what's going on. You can see the absurdity of this stuff. That's why you have to just talk like a normal person. That's why I'm fine just talking about numbers. I think that's not really left or right. We're just like talking about the numbers. Like who would benefit from the 50-year mortgage stuff? It would be Trump and his billionaire class. This is also Trump's proposal, I guess. And this was new to me. He's got all this crazy new stuff today. Sunshine State Sanctuary. Okay. President Trump issues a stark warning of an economic nightmare. Okay. Following the election of the 34-year socialist mayor in New York, they come to complain on Mondami again, and dubs Miami the refuge for fleeing New Yorkers. Wait, what? Trump declares Miami a refuge after NYC elects socialist mayor. Okay, so I guess Trump's point of view is, hey guys, come to Florida, get a 50-year mortgage. By the way, I bought up all the land. Please come and you can be in debt to me for 50 years. I mean, like their plan is so obvious. You just literally got to look at what they're saying. To me, I think it's also obvious that these people are insane. They don't give a crap about regular people. And I want to show you what some of the Democrats are saying on this. Let's listen.
Let me be very clear about SNAP. There are contingency funds there so that SNAP doesn't have a single day down. And what Donald Trump did is illegally withhold those funds. 2 federal judges said, you are not allowed to illegally withhold those funds. You need to release them and fully fund SNAP. And then yesterday, he said, not only are they going to cut SNAP benefits, but the restrictions that the Ag Department just introduced actually even further limit eligibility of SNAP. So some SNAP families.
So that was new to me. I didn't hear about the eligibility thing. I knew that Trump was trying to withhold the funds. That part I did know, and I knew they had to go to the Supreme Court to do that. Now they're talking about cutting eligibility for people. Like just think about this. Like all you have to do is just look at what they're saying. Okay, Trump's like, okay, I definitely don't want you to have food. Just forget about that. I definitely want you to go into debt for 50 years. Yeah, that's the plan. And then I guess come to Florida where I own everything. Isn't this obvious how crazy this stuff is? And then they have these big wild parties and they're going to build their fortress of freedom. Whatever that means. Well, that's my thoughts on this, guys. Please be careful out there. And I'll catch you on the next video.